All right, we got a short week. We are going to forget what happened on Sunday. I'll just hit this off the top here. It's not Nick Chubb's fault. It's not Nick Chubb's fault they scored a touchdown and that led to what it led to on Sunday. Just a not a good ending, but like I said, short week. We are back. Let's look at the positive here. Our 5 reasons to believe in the Browns against the Steelers this Thursday night rivalry game. Drew, let's start off with you. Bring some positivity. Why should we believe in the Browns this Thursday night?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, Ryan. I'm going to talk about how they just totally blew that game. And no, it's certainly not Nick Chubb's fault. You ask him to get a first down at the 1 yard line after he makes 3 people miss on an outside zone, and you ask him to find a way to stop all that momentum short of the goal line. Get out of here with that. No, I need to talk a little bit about this soft zone coverage that they have run 2 weeks in a row now, dating back to last season. If we remember early on in the season, they had plenty of coverage breakdowns then. The same thing is happening now. This defensive coordinator is slowly killing me. I don't know about everybody else who's listening to this, but there are so many times that people are just running wide open, and seemingly Grant Delpit and the rest of the secondary are just shrugging their shoulders, looking at one another. From the looks of things that I could tell, that looked like it was on Denzel and not Delpit, but he seems to always be one of the two people that cause it. I don't know if he's struggling. I don't know if it's the entirety of the defense, but I mean, this was a really ugly game. Garrett Wilson, 8 receptions, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. Corey Davis, who 83 yards and a touchdown on 2 receptions. This defense is really, really struggling. And it's not like they struggle the entirety of the game. They really don't. But yeah, sure, it's going to look bad when you give up over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns to Joe Flacco. That's probably going to sound pretty bad, mostly because it is. But it all seems to come on these like 2 or 3 just massive breakdowns that they have every single week, and you can't win doing that. This offense, while better, and this offense is better than I thought. And I'll get to that maybe in a little bit to your point, Ryan, about some reasons maybe we can be optimistic, but I'm just not there yet. I had to get this off of my chest. This soft zone defense where nobody knows what zone they're in. Nobody knows if it's cover 2 or 3 or if it's quarters. They just look around and guess. They're like, this feels like JV football to me, with people not understanding the assignments, not from a talent perspective, but just from an understand the assignment perspective. It is slowly killing me. And I actually think I might mean that. I don't know how much longer I can watch a Joe Woods defense give up this kind of just awfulness. Just give up these kinds of plays, play at this level where they do everything they can to give this game up to the opposition. So I am really hoping to see a little bit more man coverage, or maybe you give John Johnson the little green dot in the helmet. Like maybe that's a thing. I don't know, but something like this has to get better. And it got somehow, some way, it got worse from week 1 to week 2. And I just wonder what's going to happen when they go up against a really good quarterback. They're not going to see one Thursday. They have Mitch Trubisky or Little Hands Kenny, or potentially our good friend Mason, right? Like they've got nobody at quarterback on Thursday. Maybe they can get right. And maybe this becomes the game where they finally figure this coverage out. But if they do more of what they did today, it's going to be another loss.
I think it was 2005 was the Bears game with the multiple onside kicks.
2001.
2001. Okay.
2001. Mike
Yes.
Brown with the interception. Yes, I do remember that
So
painfully.
let me translate a little bit into some positivity. If that happened in 2001 and it took this many years for to have this horrible ending, it can't happen again. And Joe Woods has got to get better. Eric, let's go to you next here. Why are you believing in the Browns? Let's bring some positivity here.
Let's turn that page from last Sunday over to Thursday, guys. Let's go. Come on. The good news is we have an open playbook. I mean, how many times have we said, "Oh, well, the Browns are facing that ferocious Steelers defense that we could probably only run these 5-yard hitches, or we got to do these runs on early downs to put us in third and manageable." Well, without TJ Watt last week, the Pittsburgh defense could not pressure, or more importantly, sack Mac Jones. So I would like to expect and hope that Kevin Stefanski is going to emulate that type of offensive game plan into his system this week and to keep all of his options open. Like I said, used to run heavy 3-step drops. So I'm not saying Brissett's going to be doing 9 routes or 7-step drops, but those options are open for longer developing plays. Even David Njoku got into the receiving column last week. So, something that doesn't have to be a quick hitter, but something where he's running up the seam. Minkah Fitzpatrick is still there. He's probably the most dynamic playmaker on defense right now. They're going to have to, make sure that, Njoku, whoever's running across the middle, doesn't run in front of him and gets undercut. But this isn't your uncle's Steelers defense. So I think Stefanski is going to keep the playbook open. I think Brissett's he's played well enough to win last game. I am not sure if it was a winning performance in week 1, but they won the game. So I think he has that capability to beat this defense. Although they are still talented, they don't have their top edge rusher. So I think we got a shot.
All right. We're warming up here. Drew, let's go to you here with number 3.
Okay. I'm ready to reluctantly move past that historic loss on Sunday. And I'll say that I think the offense might be a little better than I gave it credit for. And the offense might be, somebody that can move the ball a little bit, right? And maybe this is damning with faint praise. I don't know, but certainly the offensive performance that we saw over the course of the first 2 weeks leaves me encouraged. And specifically, we talk about last week, Jacoby Brissett completed over 80% of his passes. This Jets defense isn't a bunch of scrubs. It's not some mediocre nobody defense. They have some good players on that side of the ball. This is the defense that held the Ravens to 60 yards rushing, despite them being down by multiple scores almost the entirety of that game. We know the Browns have a good rushing attack. That was never in doubt, but I think you got to see that against a really stout Jets defense last game rather. Nick Chubb, 17 carries, over 5 yards per carry. Kareem Hunt, 13 carries, 4.5 yards per carry. This is a running game that can translate to a good to very good defense. And when they're going to sort of selling out to stop it, they can still get going against a defense like that. And I was really encouraged to see them get the ball to their only good wide receiver. Amari Cooper had 9 receptions, over 100 yards, a touchdown. They realized that this is the guy for that passing game. And to their credit, they designed some plays to get him open. This is a decent Jets secondary. It's not as good as their front seven, but they have some decent players on this Jets defense. And so if this offense is a little better than I thought, potentially that can overcome some of the defensive miscues. But there can't be multiple ones per game, and the defense has to start carrying their own weight. So my sort of takeaway in this is that this offense, specifically this passing game, might be a little better than we thought coming into the season. I'm excited to see if they can keep that going against another pretty good defense here on Thursday night.
Amari Cooper, great game. Brissett, 80%? That was the
Yeah,
number?
81.5 specifically.
Okay. All right. Getting excited for Thursday. Eric, let's keep it going here.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, it's now or never, and I'm going to choose now. I started initially thinking about just the secondary. Drew kind of touched on it, so I won't hit too much of it. But the poor alignment, the guys out of position, the guys inexcusably, dropping passes, not making big plays. You got the John Johnson drop in the end zone. You got Greg Newsome nowhere to be found, or several yards off a inferior receiver who's not Garrett Wilson. I would like to think that they're going to be coached hard with that this week to kind of do your job and be a professional. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the now. But also, bigger picture, we're counting. Some people are counting down the games until Deshaun Watson's back. I'm not going there right now, but so they said, we kind of have to manufacture wins for the first 11 games. We have to win a certain way. Well, we won one. We could have easily won another one. These are the type of games you have to win if you want to go to the playoffs. So this is the time is now. I mean, we got Mac Wilson, who did beat the Steelers. I don't know how good the Patriots are. They're gonna be a tough game regardless. And then you have the Chargers, who looked very well in a loss last week, coming right after Atlanta. So, and then you start going in some of more division games. So these are the wins that you need to have on your schedule. They were favored by 6.5, didn't get it done. They're favored by 4.5. We'll see what happens. I've been used to many years where the Browns were rarely favored at all throughout the season. So you got to take advantage of these opportunities, especially at home, especially when you have leads. They had leads in the first two games by double digits. One they held on barely, one they didn't. So I expect the same type of blueprint is to get that offense, have the lead, and the defense, do their job and maintain that lead. But I think that is going to ring pretty true in the locker room. I think they're going to try to make that point, Stefanski and company, is that the time is now. There's you got to shrug off last week, and you got to get back in the win column.
All right, I like it here. I'll take us home here because this isn't the same old Browns rivalry. This is a new rivalry. Roethlisberger is no longer a part of the equation, and we have favorable quarterbacks that we're going up against. No, we don't have a favorable quarterback right now, but like you said, Drew, 80% from Brissett this past game, and you have such incredible players like Nick Chubb who are going to take us to a victory. Myles Garrett, who is about to break the Browns all-time sack record. Looking forward to those performances. Browns 2 of the last 4 against the Steelers. Last time we bopped the Steelers 21-7 on Thursday night. I'm remembering all of those times. Browns going to bring home the victory. Many reasons to believe that the season's just going up from here.